What's going on, guys? It is Madman Planet. We are back in the house with running down on the last couple episodes. It is 6 o'clock, actually 7 o'clock. We've had a fantastic time. Our last episode was really great. So if you didn't see that one, well, you need to go watch this one after you watch this one, because this one's going to be great too. We got Jessica with us, which is the superstar, making all of these guys over here look super fresh with fresh haircuts. And if you could see me without the mask on, you'd see that she did a great job. So welcome, Jessica.
Hello.
My name is Stefan, and we are Madman Plant and the Smoke Busters podcast, and we break down the stigma of cannabis, talking about mental health, home growing, and then ultimately smoking. But when we're here at the tattoo convention, we talk about mental health, tattoos, and then ultimately smoking. And you love tattoos, you love cannabis, and you love growing. So you're a perfect candidate for the show.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I've been a barber for about 11 years now.
Very cool.
I live in Roanoke.
Make sure you check out these tattoos, man. It takes a
We
lot.
just tried growing.
Yeah, and we had a little mishap with a Clorox bottle, so let's talk about that.
We'll be in the hair industry. You have spray bottles, and in the bathroom, start with the light. We had 7 plants going. Well, the Clorox bottles look a lot like the water bottle. And my lovely husband went to water his beautiful babies and sprayed 6 of the 7 with Clorox.
Ugh. One out of the full 7. What do we leave one out?
I don't know.
So what happened? What does that look like? Because even as a
Oh, it dries them up. They turn straight yellow overnight. They were about 4 inches tall.
so these were just juvenile.
Yeah.
Just
But as the 7th grew, the 7th day.
7th day.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
we have a chair right here.
I put the first leaf in a picture frame.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a
For
great
baby.
idea.
It's like
Yeah.
the first picture.
That's really cool. So now, what do you like about growing cannabis?
Cheaper.
Jeepers.
And I know what's in it.
Well, sometimes depending on like the lights and the tent and the startup costs, there's a little bit of a cost to get the equipment. So you have it, and then I do agree, it does get cheaper in the end, especially when you can raise a monster. Now,
Yes.
have you guys had a successful harvest yet?
No.
Okay, so
Light's just changing. We moved her outside. She's taller than I am.
that's awesome.
We just started budding.
Very cool. Now, the only thing that you're gonna have to watch out for on the outside is when we get into frost. Once the first frost hits, frost can kill a cannabis plant overnight. So there is a part where at winter, you're definitely going to want to bring the plant in and do like an indoor, like a grow light and then like an environment, because cannabis plants do not like the cold like that. So great outdoors. Now with the outdoors too is you'll be a little bit more susceptible to like mold, residual mold, bugs, and other things. So what I recommend is you keep them out there to definitely do what's called a bud wash before you smoke it. And that's a combination of like 3 buckets and using lemons, hydrogen peroxide, and water.
Okay.
And it'll strip everything off of it, because when it goes outside, you have insects and all these things landing on it.
Spiders.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want smoking
Yeah.
on that. But one of the things is, if you have bugs, you also have bugs that eat those bugs. So, it's a wild, wild west when you go outside from indoor. I personally have never grown outdoor. I grow indoor mainly because I just like the control of the environment.
Mhm.
Like, for instance, I run an autopot system that uses water in a reservoir, but it's gravity fed. So there's no pumps, there's no electricity. And right now, while I'm on tour, nobody has to water my plants for at least a week, because the reservoir goes out on its own and there's nothing electrical that needs to be reminded. So there's no way it can fail. And, your plants are getting the perfect nutrients and the perfect water at every time. Consistency and giving the plant what it wants when it needs it is very key in growing, as you'll learn. So a lot of this stuff you can follow through our page and stuff, because we love helping new growers
It's good to know,
to
yeah.
grow. Well, the thing is, just like with hair cutting, you don't know what you don't know. And until you're an expert in your field, like you are as a barber and what you do, how would anybody know how to fade a hairline or do things like that, or how to position a haircut to flay a certain way or fall a certain way?
Right.
You wouldn't. So it's just timing. That's all it is. Yeah. What?
Master it. Buttery.
Well, I think so too. Is a lot of people overthink the plant, and I think a lot of plants die from too much input, human error, trying to do too much when you don't need to. And I think the real value is, I always recommend, like on your first harvest, let it grow naturally and watch it to see what it looks like, see how it buds, because then you'll get a good understanding. Just like kind of with animals, you're not training the plant to work with you, you're training yourself to understand and work with the plant. So that's all the concept. So if we change that focus, we can kind of lock onto that philosophy and allow it to work for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about smoking. Why do you smoke?
Well, I have ADHD, and as I'm getting older, it's harder to control it. And it's not appropriate to interrupt people. And if I smoke it, I don't want to say slows me down, but it makes me think a little bit clearer
Yes.
versus taking a pill that just numbs you totally. You can't cry, you have no emotions, and that's not really me.
I'm ADHD as well. I've been on Vyvanse, Concerta, and Wellbutrin, and I didn't think any of them did anything for me. It made me exactly what you described, emotionless. It worked for the outside world, but
Yes.
as a person that's hyperactive inside, it didn't work for me. And I agree with you. I feel like cannabis is the deep breath that I can't take sometimes. And I think it also is the thing that does slow me down in a way that allows me to better enjoy things. I don't feel like I'm racing through things. I feel like my conversations and relationships and inputs are more meaningful,
Yes.
you know? And I personally feel like it's the missing piece. So I share that with you. Now, with your ADHD and the medicine, describe that, because it is exactly how I felt. What was it like, being on this meds, compared to cannabis?
You're in a bubble constantly. Like if we were sitting right here and we just see everybody, but we can't get to them. And
Yeah.
we don't want to. And I love interacting with people, but when you're on that medicine, it puts you in a bubble.
Mm.
And it just doesn't, you have no feeling. There's no emotions, nothing.
I agree with you on that. And that's the one thing that when we especially speak to addicts who have done heroin or meth, a lot of the people, we were at the National Cannabis Festival, kind of set up like this, but we were on foot. And within 10 minutes, we were talking to a girl about her worst day on heroin. And she said it would be a day where she would close the blinds, she would get on her hands and knees with a magnifying glass, and she would be looking through her carpet for any type of like loose rocks or crystals so she could smoke it. She'd turn off her cell phone and totally isolate herself, wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep. And she said that the reason why she loves cannabis and has really changed her life, quit the addiction, is because she still can feel. And I think feeling and emotion and experience is so important and valuable. I think that's what creates opportunity, investments. Like for instance, like the car, the General Lee right there. You know, that car back in its day sold for around $3,000 high end. So with all the bells and whistles, the super V8 transmission or engine, around $3,000 back in the day. That General Lee car, now I can't tell if it's a real movie prop or if it's just a remake, but probably is around like probably $50,000,
Yeah.
right?
32 and up.
But what makes value? Emotion. The people that love that show, that were so hyped about that show, that nostalgia has lived through. It's also causes controversy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, but without that emotion, that car could be in a scrapyard right now and have no meaning at all. But the reason why it is standing the test of time, it was built on a foundation of feeling and emotions and characteristics and attributes that created value, just like with the Knight Rider car. When we do that to our lives, I believe that our lives mean more to us. So do they other people. The problem with a lot of people, especially with some people, is until you put yourself out there, like like a a small business owner like you with a barber shop, or growing your first plant. A lot of these things that we do seem impossible or
Yes.
way out of reach, but they're not. They're in reach. The value of what it is the fact that we can all communicate. One thing that I loved about being in your chair was you carried a conversation. You're personable. Sometimes you go to the haircut and they don't talk to you, they don't engage with you, and it's like, I could just have anybody do this. But the reason why somebody would come back to you is that experience, your personality, who you are as a person, and that's developed by your self-value and your worth,
90% of it is personality. I can give you a bad haircut, but as long as I'm friendly and make you welcome and hear you when you talk, you'll come back.
Yeah. And then that creates that level of understanding and being able to somebody to say, hey, listen, maybe I didn't like the haircut before, but you were so great and I just love being around you that I'm willing to do this again. And I just want to work on, whatever it is. Not that I doubt you do a bad haircut, but that's a great analogy.
Well, I mean, I hear a lot more. I get so much people stuff on me in a work week. Like you talk to your people who have bad day, they come and tell me their wife left them or they're going to court for whatever. I have to take all that junk in on all these people. And some days it really sucks. And I just have to go release.
And talk about that release. How do you do that? What is your release?
I go, I set up my koi pond and I smoke a big fat doobie.
And I love that. And that's the what I try to embrace here at the Smoke Buddies podcast is, to people, that is mental health, that is clarity, that is understanding, that is self-love, self-care.
Yes.
Putting yourself in an environment where, one, it's been proven that aquariums, fish tanks, watching fish swim releases endorphins. It also is a calming. There's a sensation about fish and how they're able to move so freely without restriction through the water.
Oh, they're awesome.
That creates a visualization in our minds about how we can move freely and fluidly through life. But also self-care is, think about it. Every time you're smoking a joint, you're taking a deep breath.
A nice one.
A nice one, right? And what does that do? And it saves you from ruining your life, making bad decisions, doing things that are ultimately going to detract from where you're trying to be in life.
It really makes you think. Like you don't see a bunch of people smoking pot and then going to get in a fight.
No, and that's why I was shocked that the police were here. I invited them to be on the
presence.
podcast. They thought that there's gonna be a whole bunch of like bikers and gangbangers here, all trying to get tattooed and fights.
I think so. I think the small community around here is just, they still look at you funny with tattoos.
Yeah, I heard that Roanoke is a very conservative town, especially when it comes to that.
Yeah.
This is their first ever
Ever.
tattoo convention. Last time I was in Salem, it was in 2015, and I was actually in here and I was shooting the Cage Zilla fight because I own a production company. That's what I do for a living. That's what created all of this. That's Good Luck Stuff Productions right there. And when I was here, I mean, it was packed, but it wasn't like a tattoo convention. So it's kind of shocked to see that they would promote and sponsor a fight, which kind of, to some people could be unorthodox, but a tattoo convention where no different than going to a tattoo shop, really. It's like, they had the police here and stuff, and it's just like walking around looking. It's like, you think we're all selling drugs underneath the table, like illegal deals.
You never know. We do have tattoos.
I know, we're crazy motherfuckers. But so do they. So what are we trying to say here?
We got to stay classy.
Yeah, stay classy, San Francisco. Well, this has been awesome. How can we find you and support you?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but I really hate dealing with social media. I'm not good at it. I'm too old.
You don't look that old.
Yeah. I have two girls, 28 and 24.
God damn, you look so young.
Yeah, so I'm in the Facebook. That tells you right there.
There you go.
Facebook.
You're old when you say the Facebook because it's just Facebook. I'm just kidding. No, but that is awesome. Congratulations to you to be doing everything that you're doing at your age. I think that's one of the biggest things about resiliency and longevity is to stay active. When we were talking to the breast cancer survivor today, she's in her older age as well, and they said when she first developed the breast cancer, if you really want a chance to beat this, you have to stay active. You have to continue your routines because that helps with the healing process. It helps with the recovery time. It helps with a lot of things. When we stay stagnant, whether it's mentally, physically, or spiritually, that's going to weigh on you in different ways, good or bad, and you do not want to be stuck in the same spot over and over.
Yeah, you got to get up. You got to get up and keep on going.
Well, Jessica, this has been awesome. What's the name of your shop so people can track you down if they're in the area?
I'm at Eric and Company in Manita.
Very cool. And guys, we have more. Actually, this might be the last podcast yet. At 7:14, I'm wrapping up at 7:30. Guys, it has been an awesome experience here at the Heritage Arts and Tattoo Convention. It's been a really great time. We've had so many podcasts. I think we just did 10, so you can watch all of them. Our longest one was an hour long, and they're all equally just as great. And I encourage you to rewatch this one and many more. We will see you next weekend at the Madman Plant Barbecue Smoke and Smokeout, which, if you have time, I'd love for you to attend.
I saw that.
It's going to be amazing. We're spending 300 people there. We got volunteers, vendors, free food, free event. Just a really good time. We're raising $2,000 as my goal, hopefully more, for breast cancer. We've already raised $1,491. So keep those donations coming. You can go to the website. Everything through madmanplant.com. Me and Honey are out. Jessica, thank you so much for the opportunity to tell your story. And we will see you guys real soon. Have a wonderful night.